Hey, Joe Zarzaur here for another segment of Zarzaur Law TV. Today we're going to talk about, I think, one of the most important topics that comes about nearly every day in my practice, and that's the necessity of uninsured motorist coverage. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a humongous deal. First of all, let me set the landscape a little bit here. Whether you know it or not, other drivers in Florida can legally drive their car and not have any coverage for injuries they cause to you. You're required in Florida to only have $10,000 of personal injury protection coverage. That's for your own self. And you're also required to have $10,000 of property damage coverage for the other person's car. You are not required, like other states, for instance, Alabama, to have any coverage for the other person's injuries. So you could actually be drunk, or heaven forbid, be drunk and hurt somebody. 100% your fault. And you legally can be driving a car that has zero coverage for the other person's injuries. So you can imagine how stressful it is for a person to hear, not only do they have a permanent injury, or heaven forbid something worse, but the other driver that ran the stop sign or that was speeding and caused a horrible collision has no injury coverage. So all of your medical bills outside of the $10,000 that you can easily run through in a serious situation are borne by you. And there's really nothing you can do about it. So the one thing that can protect you from being in a situation where the lack of insurance for injuries caused by another person is not borne by your own personal finance, but by the way to protect yourself is to get as much uninsured motorist coverage on your own policy as you can afford. And let me tell you how that coverage works. So in the hypothetical I gave you, the person had no insurance for the other person's injuries, which is legal. So if you were to call an insurance company and say, just give me the cheapest thing I can get so that I can drive, they would sell you a policy that had no injury coverage for the other driver, the other person. And so let's say, I think the stats are that a large percentage of drivers in Florida just have that coverage, just allowing them to drive. And then a bigger percent of people in Florida have just the smallest amount they can get for that, which is $10,000. So many people have just a little bit of injury coverage for the other driver, and they're thinking, well, I'm doing enough. Well, you and I both know that hospitals and doctors, especially if you have surgery or stay overnight in a hospital, or heaven forbid worse, you're going to run through $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 in a couple of days, maybe a day. So if it's a serious injury. And so here you are in a situation where you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical expenses. You did nothing wrong. The other person was drunk or wasn't paying attention or was texting and driving, and they caused the wreck, but you're now saddled with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and no way to get it paid. What uninsured motorist coverage does for you is, as soon as they verify there's no coverage for the other driver, there's not enough, you then basically become adverse, is the word we use in this business. You become adversarial with your own insurance company. And they start acting as if they're the other driver. And I know this sounds crazy because it's your company, but that's how it works. And then many times we have to sue your own insurance company to get all those benefits because, like every insurance company, they're trying to hold on as many dollars as they can. So what I get on a soapbox about every week, usually multiple times per week, is if you don't have full coverage in Florida on your car, you probably don't have uninsured motorist coverage. You've elected not to have it. Fix that today. Stop what you're doing whenever you're watching this and go and get as much uninsured motorist coverage as you can afford, okay? And the reason for that is you don't want to be in a situation, heaven forbid, where somebody else causes the wreck, because this is what happens. It's not your driving characteristics. It's not how safe you are. It's the other person. They cause you to be injured. They cause you and your family to suffer this traumatic situation and all these bills and expenses. And then they don't even have to pay for anything. because they legally can drive without injury coverage for you in Florida. If you have further questions about uninsured motorist coverage, you can find us on the web at zarzaurlaw.com. You can always call us at 855-HIRE-JOE. Take care, be safe, and make sure your insurance policy has plenty of uninsured motorist coverage. Thank you.